Guys, Jackie M, how you doing? Just give me a minute while I share this out. Thanks for joining me. Let me know where you're watching from. And if this is your first time seeing me on camera, I'm Jackie M and I'm a Malaysian-born, Sydney, Australia-based former Malaysian restaurant owner. And I am actually just doing this as part of a 30-day challenge. It's called the Go Live 30 Challenge. This is day 11 for me, and I am covering Malaysian cooking tips. Okay, so day 11 in my Malaysian cooking tips. Just again, let me just give me a second. And of course, suddenly I just feel I feel the need to sneeze. Hopefully I'm okay. Okay, day 30, day 11. Okay, here we go. So if you know anyone who's interested in Malaysian cooking, make sure you share this out with them. And again, I'm Jackie M, and this is my 30 days, 30 Malaysian cooking tips. And today we're going to cover Malaysian soft-boiled eggs. All right, so if you're familiar with Malaysia, or if you grew up in Malaysia, you will know the kind of soft-boiled eggs I'm talking about. I'm not talking about just regular, like boiling eggs in a saucepan and then like turning it off before it gets hard and whatever, okay, because it cooks differently. Malaysian soft-boiled eggs I'm talking about are the ones that are soft on the outside, okay, and you usually will have it served as part of a breakfast kaya toast set. In kaya is a coconut jam that goes on your Malaysian breakfast toast, okay, and usually you'll have the soft-boiled eggs served with a little bit of soy sauce and some pepper, okay. Now, a lot of people seem to think that it's just a simple soft-boiled eggs. It's actually quite different the way you would cook it, okay. And how do you achieve the effect of, hey, Linda, how you doing? How do you achieve the effect of having the eggs, cooked so that they don't? Because if you boil the eggs, okay, the way Westerners cook soft-boiled eggs, you would put them in the saucepan, fill it up with water, cover it, and bring it up to a boiling point, and then turn it off. Like, depending on how hard or how soft you want it, you will turn it off at a certain point, and then when you crack it open, you'll find that it cooks from the outside in, okay, just because of the nature of how it's cooked. It will get you'll get like a harder outer shell sort of thing, so you might have a runny yolk or a firmer yolk or whatever. But Malaysian soft-boiled eggs, you want to actually change the effect, okay. You don't want to bring it up to a boiling point. How do you do that? So there's a couple of ways to do it, okay. The way you would typically do it if you were doing it professionally is you want to actually cook it only up to a certain temperature, okay. You don't want to heat it up to boiling point, but how do you know what temperature, how do you control the temperature and all that? So those are the kind of things you want to take into account. So if you can afford a sous vide unit or a sous vide stick, right, which basically allows you to set what temperature you want to cook whatever it is you're using it for at, and also how long you want to cook it at, that's the way to go, okay. But based on my research, what I ended up doing is that you want the eggs to cook at about 65 degrees Celsius. Okay, I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, 65 degrees Celsius, 60 to 65 degrees. You can play around with it. Also depends on the kind of eggs you use, how big or whatever they are, right? So with the extra large eggs I use, which are about 59 grams, 60 to 65 degrees is what you want, okay? And if you can't afford a sous vide stick or a special sous vide unit, how do you produce it? Okay, so there's a couple of tricks to it. First of all, obviously, if you can afford a sous vide stick, if you can't afford a sous vide stick, you most likely probably may not have a Thermomix or a Thermocook sitting around at home. But if you do, then that's perfect, okay? Because these kinds of units, what they allow you to do is they actually cook for you as well. So you can set the temperature, right? And then you can set the timer, and it will, you'll fill it up with water, set it up at what temperature, and you set it up at a timer, and then you put the eggs in and let it cook for X amount of time, okay? So if I were cooking it and I have one of these, I would actually set it at 65 degrees for, I think, about 25 minutes, okay? So it does take a little time, but 65 degrees, 60 to 65 degrees will get it there, okay? But think about it. If you don't want to invest in one of these units because they're not cheap, how do you get your food at 60 Okay. Now, if you know anything about food safety, 60 degrees is the kind of like the cutoff point, okay, where food is considered unsafe, okay? So between 5 degrees and 60 degrees, food is considered unsafe, okay? That's the unsafe zone, okay? So if you're running a food business or whatever, you're always mindful of having food within that temperature range, okay? That's why food inspectors always insist that your food is piping hot or it's cold, okay? So your refrigerator, that's 3 degrees or below, your food is safe there. It's in, on the stove and it's hot, then it's safe there. But that weird in-between period is where it's unsafe, okay? Which is why if you've got a rice cooker, most Asians have rice cookers at home, am I right? Most Asians have like electric rice cookers of one form or another at home, okay? There's a keep warm setting on it, okay? And if you don't have a rice cooker, if you're a Westerner, a lot of Westerners have slow cookers at home, okay? Now, the keep warm setting is what you want. The keep warm setting is almost always around a little bit over 60 degrees Celsius, okay? Remember, anything under 60 degrees is considered unsafe, okay? That's why when you're keeping food warm, it has to be above 60 degrees, but not much more, okay? So about the 60, 65 degree range is where your keep warm setting is on your rice cooker, your electric rice cooker, and your slow cooker, okay? And if you're cooking your eggs, that's what you want to do, okay? Put the eggs in there, fill it up with water, and then put it on keep warm for 45 minutes, okay? And then at the end of 45 minutes, take it out and test your eggs, see how they look, okay? You should be able to produce the same kind of eggs that you get at the Malaysian kopitiam that you grew up eating, okay? With the gooey egg yolk, but that's also soft on the outside, okay? Not cooked all the way through the way, if you boiled it sort of thing, how it would turn out, okay? So that's my hack for actually producing Malaysian kopitiam eggs, okay? Again, keep warm setting of your rice cooker, your sous vide, your slow cooker. And if you have actually, those catering keep warm bain-marie sort of thing, and they have like anything that has a keep warm setting, okay? Like I said, it should be around the 65 degree mark. And if it is, then put in the eggs, fill it up with water, and 45 minutes later, check the eggs and see how they turn out. Again, play around with the setting a little bit, okay? Maybe you want to cut it down. Again, it depends on the kind of eggs you use and, how big they are and whatever. But that's about where you want it, okay? Now, I personally, because I don't have to use that because I do have these units where I can actually cook it at those temperatures. I even actually have a sous vide stick. I personally actually prefer the eggs at a little bit lower, closer to the 60 degree mark, okay? So that's my personal preference, and it produces it the way I like it. But, beggars can't be choosers. If all you have is a rice cooker with a keep warm setting, then use that for 45 minutes, okay? Give it a shot. Let me know how it turns out. So there you go. That's your tip of the day. And make sure you check out the rest of my 30 day series, and I will see you tomorrow night. Ciao.